Morning is 6:31, September 29th. We got Chris coming in here. Let's see what we got. I got Chris. Chris. Can't speak. What's up, brother? How you doing? We ever gonna hop on the Zoom? It's gotta happen. Doing great. Send a message to the group. Wow. Okay. Cool. And how's that going? Is it overwhelming, or do you like it? I'm sure, doing that overtime, you're making extra money, so I'm sure you're happy. It's good. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, we just got to find a slot. I was just gonna say we should exchange numbers. Since you're in the US, it's a little bit easier for you and I to text or call instead of someone in Europe. It's a little bit harder. But yeah, whenever you get a chance, send your number over and we'll set up a good time. But I'm gonna wait for a couple guys to come in and we'll start breaking some things down over here. Oh, there you go. Just got it. Got it. Thanks, brother. Yeah, even if the direct messages work for other people, other than me, because it's on the live stream. So just, send it over in Slack. I know you did, but I'm saying whenever you want to send a private message, just send it over in Slack. Let's take a look. It's Wednesday. We got a big volume day today. I'm just gonna wait for a couple other guys to come in and we'll get to it. Let's take a look at some of the economics that came out. Consumer confidence came out a lot worse than expected yesterday. Been great, man. Great. We follow each other on Instagram. I kind of broke down how my weekend was. Megan went down to Florida with her cousins. So I was kind of all over the place. I had a bunch of drives with clients. I had the dog, who's a little puppy, so that was the longest we've left him alone throughout the day. So as soon as I would get home, I got to play with him. I got to take him out. It's like having a kid, and you know how that is. So I didn't get a chance to do what I wanted, which sometimes frustrates me, but it's all good. So let's while we're waiting for some guys for some of the higher time frame stuff, but we could break some of this stuff down. So obviously, how we work, or we've been working on DJ since tapping into 156, very psychological level, and also key level when it comes to technicals. We started consolidating, and then we just dropped to form a new low down here. And we've just been respecting this bearish trend over here multiple times, and we're doing it again, right? We failed to break above this resistance, and now we're just pushing low. This current daily candle from yesterday is extremely strong. Next daily candle comes up, creates that top wick. I know we consolidated a little bit, started breaking out, and then we formed that resistance and then started to continue down. We have clean moves. Sorry about that. Excuse me. We have clean moves over here to the left that we could be mirroring. This is a whole zone that you want to be paying attention to right over here. And it looks like we're breaking below it. And this is the area that you want to trade in. What are the chances that we come down and retest 149 flat? Pretty strong, right? So if we take a look, let's move this. This is distracting over here. This window is huge. There we go. Okay, so again, we have this clean move to the left, very simple. And right now we're just creating lower lows and lower highs. Just like we did over here, we had like kind of like a little fake out right over here where we had this consolidation. Let's take a look over here what exactly happened. So right up here, we formed the support right back down at 149 as it always does. And we just respected this bullish structure. We then created a new high up here, right? And price just began to consolidate. Every time we create a new high, price just consolidates and then continues to rise, or consolidates and then just drops, or just creates a new high, creates a new support, and then continues right back up. So it could go like this, could go like this, or it could just come up, consolidate, and then just drop. It's one of those three. So as you can see right over here, consolidated, continued up, but guess what? We caught a liquidity grab up here, and then we just ended up creating a bearish trend, continuing right back down to retest 149 once more. So we do the same exact thing where we come right back up, retest 149, we continue right back up to this area, create this high up here, start to consolidate a little bit, not nearly as much as over here, but then we get that liquidity grab right here to then continue right back down. So now we're just creating lower lows and lower highs. History repeats itself. We're doing the same exact thing. So what are the chances right now? Price is going to form some kind of a resistance right here, just like it did right here, and then continue right back down. Pretty high, right? So I like these candles. I like a candle like that where it's extremely bearish, breaking below the support right over here. This candle comes up, creates that resistance over here, and then we get a nice strong bearish candle over here. So now we're just waiting for a resistance to form on the higher time frames. This is only the 4 hour, so got plenty more to break down. But we're looking for resistance to form for us to take this right back down, because we get some clean moves over here to the left. And what I'm taking a look at over here is how we had this consolidation over here. We had this clean move over here with it started to get a little messy in this area. But guess what? Price didn't care. We still came right back down to 149 flat. So that's what we're looking at right now. The hourly. Nice resistance here last night. Forming a low. We came up, consolidated, grabbed liquidity, and then continue right back down. So now what are the chances that we can form a resistance and continue right back down? And where will we be going? At least right down into here. I see. Got about 69 pips right here. Could make that 70. I like this candle right here, this wick. How we're rejecting right now. And let's just be patient. Let's see what we want. We got a bearish candle right over here. It's a perfect setup right over here. I'm actually gonna get my magic keys ready. It is 6:41. Let's see the hour. Okay, the hour is flipping bearish as well. So let's get the 15-minute candle. I want to see that either pass the low over here or close bearish right now. Look at that. That wick always gets filled right here. Same thing goes for the opposite way as well. Yeah, this will be nice. I gotta send a message to a couple guys because a couple guys need that wake up call. Who else needs it? So what I'm looking at over here is I'm going to enter dynamic risk where if you look at the hour, sometimes the hour ends up closing like this at 7 o'clock. The next hour creates a top wick that comes up here and then drops. Does that make sense? Make the call, coach. Yeah, man. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes I don't like babying people. Like, I think we're all adults, but some people just need to be stayed on top of a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to enter a little dynamic risk right over here. One position. Since the 15 passed the low of the previous 15. My take profit down at 150. Okay. So let's run through this real quick. Nope. Fundamentals. We want here we go. Journal. All right, 15-minute candle close bullish or bearish. Maybe we're creating a top wick right now. Let's go back. TJ 9/29/21 at. Yeah, you see that happen a lot. Yeah, man. Just gotta be careful on that 15-minute time frame. You get a lot of fake outs. At the daily. So, Chris, how's your how do I make it not direct message? How's your like back testing routine been? I know when you were at school during the lunch break, you'd be back testing during that. Um, obviously a lot has happened, so I know the schedule tends to take a hit, or you start to do things or start to, I don't know, maybe not stick to the same schedule you were on, which is natural. I still back test at work. All right, awesome, good, perfect. So what I like right now is that we have this massive bearish close right over here. The 4 hour is creating its top wick, and it looks like it's flipping bearish to continue right back down. There we got the 4 hour. The 1 hour. This is a perfect setup, dude. And guess what? Early bird gets the worm. And if some of these guys don't want to wake up, it sucks. I thought it would pull back. When? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's see if we get this 30 close the way it is. We'll see. Yeah, I would say like 6 foot. Actually 600. Wanted to retest 600 because that's kind of that range that created that was created the low. So we'll see. 3 15-minute pulse entry. This one here. Yeah, we're pushing. Towards the end of each hour, you normally get some good volume coming in. I'm definitely going to be securing once we retest this low down here. Actually, we're at almost 10 pips right now. We're at 11 pips. My thing is, we're not at 1-to-1. That's some bearish volume over here. Right. Let's see what we got. Are you in this? No, just okay. Are you waiting for the hour close? Oh, watching gold. Okay. Yeah, I'll break down gold. There he is. Love it. You've been risking more. Like, have you been feeling more confident? Just give me a little brief. Obviously, we'll go over this on our own on our call, but since it's just us right now. Oh wow. Okay. Love it. So you're trading flat lots. Love it. To like my fiance in the other room, probably sounds like I'm just talking to myself. Okay, cool. And what, just make sure that you have a 10 pip stop loss or maybe even higher, but it's kind of up to you. After consistent wins. Okay. And I'm guessing it's been GJ and gold. Here we go, GJ. Nothing else. Okay. Oh, I start at point. All right. You'll just have to explain that to me later. Not I'm thinking you started at a 10-cent lot and you built your way up to a $1 lot, or with that one trade, you go dynamic risk with a 10-cent lot and you build yourself up to a one lot with that dynamic risk. And also you're not trading GJ anymore. Both scenarios. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So once we started getting into this area, just because we were just at a one-to-one right over here. So I have 15 pips right here. I ended up securing 50% just because we're at that hour end. Stop loss isn't at break even yet, just because I want to give it room to run. And I kind of got not screwed, but that's what happened to me yesterday when it came to moving my stops to break even too much. I missed the whole GJ move. I grabbed part of it, but I missed about 100 pips of it just because the spread stopped me out and continue bearish. So Actually, 15 minutes since this is what I took it on. So yeah, Chris, you'll have to break that down for me. That's awesome. So again, not moving my stop loss to break even quite yet. It is staying. Because we know we're going to get that hour pullback. And if it comes back to my entry, then I just close 50. What is this trade that Geo took last night? It was the 1 hour. I responded to Geo. Ramos coming in. Either way, because yeah, 100%. We've seen this so many times on these live streams, right? When it comes to this setup on GJ specifically, you get it on gold as well. You get it on many other pairs, but this is one of those setups that we've seen so many different times, and it's pretty easy to execute. It was executed on the 15-minute time frame. Little, I wouldn't say risky, but 15, you get less confirmations. It's a little it's not as safe, I would say, as the 30-minute and the 1 hour, but we've seen this many times. Got that resistance formed, we continue right back down. Got a nice 10 pips right over here, or 15 pips out of this, squeezed it. Got the 101. Reese, what's up, brother? So
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Glad
I
to see you in
forgot to turn
here.
on my alarm clock last night, so I'm a little late.
What happened?
I forgot to turn on my alarm clock last night, so I'm a little late.
Oh, that's what it was, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm kidding. Chris, I'm gonna shoot you a text, 301 254. Chris, what was your last name again? Why am I drawing a blank? No, don't tell me. Davis, that's right. I knew that. Geo coming in. Perfect. All set. Gio, Reese, what's up, boys?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Gio, I guess I passed out before you sent that in the Asian session. So I was just asking real quick if you secured, like, I was a little confused about the breakdown, but I did like how you really broke everything down as far as stop loss placement, all that stuff. This is very organized. I like it.
Well, yeah, I got stop out break even.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
you
but I was
closed
able to
50 at
I
20
closed
pips?
50 at 20 pips, yeah.
Oh, and close another 50 at 35?
It didn't hit the 35, went back to my entry. So
Oh,
I got
this
stopped out the break, yeah.
okay. So this
But
was your plan.
mhm.
Got
It
it.
was Asian session. But if this was New York session, I would leave my stop loss at my original placement.
True.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. And then stopped at a break even. But you got 50% at 20 pips, so that's good. Awesome, man. But yo, I like how you put, where your stop loss was, where your first take profit, second take profit. That's awesome. And a nice little screenshot of it as well. It's great. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see that. I guess I passed out. So I'll break down this trade real quick. Okay, cool. So, this trade is pretty self-explanatory. There you go. Where I broke all this down for Chris, but with GJ over here, let's go this. We'll do this over here. Obviously, 149 being that significant level over here. We've been in a bearish trend coming all the way down over here, respecting this previous area. And we're just pushing down exactly what we did right over here with this move coming all the way back down to 149. We're doing the same exact thing right here. Nice, strong, bearish candle right there. This daily candle created its top wick already and passing the low of that wick. So we're continuing down. And once we break below this level over here, you got some clean moves, right? So pretty simple, pretty easy. And then when it comes to the lower time frames over here, it's our exact setup that we always look for. Just a classic break and retest, right? We I don't want to do that. We have our resistance right up here, respecting this bearish trend. Wow, there goes GJ. Love it. Love it. So I'm gonna go subs to break even. Secure another little piece of it. Beautiful trade. Cool. So just pushing low. Chris and I called this right over here where we were consolidating, tapped into this trend over here, and then we just dropped, creating this low. The 4 hour, when we came to the charts, was right up here, and we gradually started, flipping bearish. And now what we're doing is flipping bearish. Got a clean move to the left, 149 being such a significant level, and we could continue right back down into it. One of my TPs is going to be right over here once you get into this consolidation. But as we see to the left, last time we were in a similar situation. Last time we were in a similar situation right over here. Once you get around this area, you get a clean move to the left that you can mirror over here. But once you start getting into here, it consolidates a little bit, which it started doing, but we did end up pushing all the way back down to this support. So what are the chances we could push through this consolidation and continue right back down at 149? Pretty high. Not actually, I don't want to say 140. Yeah, 149. Could say 149. So right now the 4 hours flipping, and it's the beginning of the 4 hour as well. So what are the chances we get just a hard push at least down to 149,800? Pretty high. Looking at the 1 hour, 1 hour is a perfect setup. At the time when Chris and I were looking at this, The 1 hour was creating this top wick and starting to flip bearish. We executed this on the 15-minute. Well, actually, Chris didn't get in this, but I executed this on the 15-minute, 30-minute over here was passing the low, and also the 15-minute candle right over here past the low of these wicks over here, and I took it with my stop loss above that candle, and this was around 653. So I knew we were going to get that end of volume push. I didn't think it would be like this, but I was happy with it. I was a little concerned that the 1 hour. Normally, when you get a candle like this, we get that top wick over here, liquidity grab before we continue right back down. Sometimes it just drops like this, which is perfect. So this is what we want. We're risk free right now. Reset's a little lesson for you for the alarm. I mean that shit happens all the time to everybody. So it's obviously not your fault. But I'm saying, like, to me, when that would happen to me, when I see a move like this, would you consider it part FOMO? Yes. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I learned my lesson. Like, I can't let that happen again because I just lost money. Like, that alarm clock just cost me.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the way I would always look at it, especially like when I was trading independently, not doing the live streams and trading with Raikio. I would wake up all of a sudden, missed an alarm, and log into the chart, and then all of a sudden I missed a move, and I'm like, all right, I just lost money.
Yeah, that's true.
So
hope it does. I'm gonna try. Hope it doesn't happen again.
what was that? Oh yeah, no, listen.
Yeah, just last night. I just ended up passing out. So,
well, it happened to me on Monday, so
yeah,
we're all good.
Better late than never, though.
Exactly. Oh man. I did end up securing down here again once more, and now I'm just leaving it alone. Let's go 20 pips. Gio, do you get in this at all?
No, I'm waiting for the for the 1 hour to candle to retrace a little bit higher.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'll kind of like
DJ left
retest
it
this
on
area.
No, I'm actually trying to get in around 150, 400.
150, 400.
Yeah, I'm
Right
trying to
around here. Okay.
Yeah, I have a sell limit on that area.
Oh, okay.
It didn't get activated, so that's okay.
Now, have you been using pending orders like that a lot? Like they're working for you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm just, because I was expecting for this hour candle to create, a higher top wick. But I
Yeah, me
guess,
too.
there's so much volume right now that they just push the price lower.
This is the type of price action that we love. And honestly, for a while, like GJ just hasn't been getting this type of price action as clean. Like price has just been all over the place with GJ and gold. But now that you know, I'm gonna break even everything with this. Let's head over to gold real quick. I'll break some of this stuff down. All right. Take a look at what we got. Pretty similar to GJ over here, to be honest with you, where we found that resistance and we've just been in this bearish trend, printing lower lows and lower highs with a clean move to the left. Sharma and I broke this down yesterday. Now, if you could take a look, looking at the weekly, we're midweek right now. This candle passed the low of that candle after creating a top wick and already came right back down into this area. This is a key area right over here, previous support. But once we break that area, we should be continuing right back down to 1680, which we'll mark off right now. Perfect. So that's obviously a very key level for us. That we want to pay attention to. Clean move to the left. What are the chances we continue right back down? We're just retracing right now, right? We're just kind of retesting this area, just like we did over here, where we created this low. We come up, we retest this whole key zone right here. Anywhere in here, price wanted to tap into this whole zone, and then we just dropped. Perfect setup right here. Couldn't get any better with this doji bearish candle. Creates its top wick, past the low of that candle, and continues all the way down. That was about 160 pips that you could journal and say, okay, I could have caught this based on the daily candle, just like we could have caught GJ based on the daily as well. This is a perfect opportunity for you to take this. Let me just go back to GJ real quick and see if this is a spot I would want to secure. Yeah, we're starting to get into this little support right over here. So I'm gonna just close another 50%. All right, so closing another 50%. Price is just dropping over here. Gotta love it. Let's see. So we have this rejection area to the left. Price is now at.
So the area it's tapping into now is the area that you pointed out on the 4-hour, right?
Two. Previous. So the area where it's at right now on the 4-hour.
Yeah.
No, this is on the 30-minute. You see this rejection area where we form support, and then also if you look to the left, we're starting to get into that consolidation over here, right? We're starting to tap into it. So could we form support right over here? And I'm not saying that like we're going to completely reverse, but could we hold support right here and start to consolidate over here? Maybe come up to this area right here, and then we continue right back down. Something like that could happen. Like we could be a little overextended right over here. We passed the low right over here, but right now we're starting to get into that consolidation area. Getting down into this area right here is more of getting into that consolidation area. This is just a little minor support, but again, it was a previous resistance as well. And as a scalper, you need to be completely okay with the decisions that you make and comfortable with what you're doing and what you've seen before. And this is just the way I trade and the way I scalp.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like learned about the magic keys being easier, like with just pressing the one buttons and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because like yesterday while I was at work, like I said, I was like trying to trade a little bit, but like the signal was so choppy, like I was like, you know what, I just might as well just close all these orders and
Yeah,
just move on.
I feel you. Do you have magic keys?
No, not yet. But
Okay.
I'm gonna get the on screen and I'm gonna get the simulator right away. So
Awesome, man.
to get going on that.
Yeah, like I said, I think the simulator will be better for you. Do you have a lot of time? Like you're done with work at 2, correct?
Yeah.
So you have a good amount of time throughout the afternoon to just back test.
Yeah, I could probably
Awesome.
at least practice for about minimum, I could say 3 hours a day if I wanted
Okay.
to. So,
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna become a monster with that as long as you stay disciplined with it. And obviously, yeah, you got the 3 hours of back test. You're going to the gym too. Cool. So, that simulator, it's exactly like you're watching the live market because you can watch the candles every second, they're changing. When it comes to Trading View, if you were to get that, like, yes, it's cleaner. And I like Trading View better as far as like looking at it instead of trading on MetaTrader. But when you're in the rewind tool, look how these candles play. It's like not realistic. Just watch it. Oh, and then it just stops because
so pretty much it just prints twice or moves twice,
yeah, there's like 2
then it's done.
clicks. It's like the beginning of the candle, then the second half of the candle, and it shows you just that. It doesn't show you the price, the volatility of the candle and what it's doing exactly at what time, and you don't know like when the wick is formed really. I don't know. It's just I wish they did it in real time where I could just press play here and it would just play it the way it normally does.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to trying the simulator. It looks pretty fun. I was watching the video on Teachable last night, so
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. I love Soft4fx. Great program. And there's many others out there, but I know our circle has always used Soft4fx. Oh, let's go back to gold over here. Got distracted. So gold, obviously we have a key level right over here, previous consolidation. Then if you go to the left, it's a very key level as well. So right now we broke below that level, right? We got into that zone where we created that resistance, previous support, and then we're just pushing down. Are we retesting this level over here to create a top wick and then continue right back down to retest 1724, 1725? And then once we break that, you get some clean moves to the left. This was that double bottom at 1680 that we created this bullish trend off of. And we were in a bullish trend for quite some time, from the beginning of April all the way to the beginning of June. And then we started to taper off over here. So right now, we could be heading right back down for 1680. Especially with them tapering and increasing interest rates. So that's the daily right now so far. Daily doesn't have any bottom wick, but we did tap into this area with this candle. So we could be holding support and continuing to consolidate. If you guys are watching GJ right now, you see how we're reacting to that level. So gold is looking good right now. We did break previous resistance over here that we just had, but right over here is that level that we want to look at. Are we going to get some kind of a fake out? So if price comes and closes below this level right here, I would like to see a sell. Take this down to 1724 potentially. But as you can see, we've just been creating these lower lows and lower highs. We come down, consolidate over here, little fake out, you know, we tap into that trend line, and we continue right back down to create a new low. Come up, retest that previous area right here, create a resistance, consolidate, and then continue right back down to create a new low. Do the same thing here, continue right back down. But we're getting farther from this trend. Could we be forming a support right over here? Could we be holding in here? Maybe form like a double bottom over here where we retest this area and then we continue up. Sort of like that maybe, or we break above. That could happen as well. So let's see what we get. It's the 4 hour. Looks like we want to come back down into this area. But so far we are respecting this trend. So I think safe sells will be below this area right here, 1738. Is that what you're looking for, Chris? Or are you looking for buys? Yeah, these will be high risk, high reward sells up in here, but I would rather wait for this area to break.
So say the candle breaks that area of 1738.
Yes.
You see the wicks to the left of it?
Right here?
Yeah, those wicks. Does it have a chance of tapping into those wicks, or will it just go straight down due to that move on the left?
It does have a chance, and that's why you wait for the close, right? You want a nice clean close below this instead of like a lot of people get impatient. It's a very common characteristic when it comes to trading. You know, everyone just about does it. The more experience you get, the less impatient that you get. The more patient you get is a better way of saying it. So what you want to do is wait for a clean close below that area.
Okay, so would you consider it
like that
good for it to close below that? You see the doji candle with the long wick, the bearish one? Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Okay.
So wait for a close below that?
Yeah, below that one, you just mark with the arrow.
I wouldn't say it has to be below that. What you just want is a strong body, right? A strong body letting us know that price is going to continue down. Then you get that wick up, right? And then
Yeah.
as that candle starts to flip bearish, that's where you start to take it.
Oh, okay.
But
Like
this will be a little bit safer for you.
right?
Waiting for price to cross and close below that area before you take any sells.
Okay.
You can take it up here, but I would we're still respecting this bullish trend over here that we've been in since what was this, yesterday?
Yeah, like as I've been looking at the charts more, I try to stay out of like, the ranges where it consolidates a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to look at those areas and just pretty much the lower or the top. But
That's smart. Are you feeling more and more comfortable right now?
yeah, I'm starting to get there. Yeah, especially like with just like messing around with the demo trading, like the demo and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like as I'm like reading, like looking at the charts more and more every day with you guys, I'm starting to see the like zones and stuff like that, the areas, levels.
Cool.
So
Awesome, man.
slowly progressing. It's
Yeah,
good.
man. As long as you stay consistent, coming here every day, just like adding your ideas, listening to us, it's just going to start to click a little bit more on a daily basis. It's not going to, not everything's going to change in one day. It's just like gradually learning something new, watching price every single day, understanding the way it moves, where to take smart trades, all that stuff. It all comes together and forms, a good idea for you for gaining that knowledge and getting that experience.
Yeah.
So over here, we have about 50 pips over here. You got a clean move to the left if we do close below that area as well. And then that if we do close below that area, should break below the support and continue right back down into like 1730 to 1725. Nice, strong, bearish 30-minute candle closing over here. Reese, one thing you want to do and have on that checklist for your trading plan, I'm sure we went over this before, but you want that checklist, but also what you want to do is make sure that before you take a trade, just check all the other time frames real quick. Just run through the higher time frames because price can change. Things could change after 2 hours of waiting for price action. The 4 hour could look different, right? And it could keep you from taking the trade because you don't like the way it looks. That could be good and bad, but most of the time that's good. It's better to be in the know.
Yeah, I've been kind of seeing that a little bit. I think because sometimes I'll change the time frame, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll notice some things have changed a little bit from when I looked at it. So I guess I kind of know what you mean a little bit.
Yeah, no, it just about always does. We'll monitor this over here. And we'll take a look at GJ. So GJ, it looks like we rejected that area. 15-minute close like a doji candle right there. Yeah, check something real quick. I have this camera in my living room now for my dog. You can just like monitor. He's just hanging out. Let's see if GJ continues down, passes that wick. Maybe we consolidate over here and then continue down. I think I'm just about done securing. All right. Let's get the labels on here. So is there anything you guys want to go over, like a little refresher or like Reese, you having specific issues with anything? I know you were being challenged a little bit with the support and resistance, but it seems like you're getting the hang of it.
Yeah, I'm getting the hang of that part now. Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to come. Just you got to do it more and more.
I think pretty much right now what I am really trying to understand is like reading the candles that change as the time frame gets lower. So
Okay.
just pretty much that, and yeah, reading candles right now. So
You're saying like as the candles translate into lower time frames?
yeah, because like let's just say like the 30-minute on the 15, there's 4 candles, right? So it's like just pretty
You're
much,
saying that there's 4 15-minute candles in an hour, right?
yeah, in an hour. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so you got the 1 hour over here, right? And what kind of candles were formed to make this top wick over here, right? We had the 1 hour candle, we had this low created, price comes all the way up and rejects this whole area right here, right? Creates that resistance and then continues right back down. You got the 30-minute, that 30-minute candle was 6 to 6:30. So looking over here, 6 o'clock was one of those bullish candles, was that top wick, right? Where we created that top wick, which is the beginning of 6 o'clock. Then the next part of that candle, the next part of the 30-minute or the 1 hour candle, flip bearish and continue right back down to pass the low of that 30-minute candle. So that's why you see this 1 hour candle. We had one 30-minute candle right here. We had the 130-minute candle. And then we had the bearish candle form right next to it, which created that wick. And then we continue right back down. Actually, am I incorrect with that? Yeah, okay. So it was the one bullish candle and then this long bearish candle. So these two candles made up the 1 hour. And it's kind of interesting if you go through it like multiple times at different time frames, you really start to understand like the anatomy of candles and how they move and how how they work. Like this right over here, 6 o'clock. This is the beginning of the 1 hour, right? 1 hour created that bottom wick and then started to push up, creating the top wick. Then we rejected, closed bearish on the 15-minute time frame, past the low of that candle, which is where I entered. This candle created its top wick. And all of these candles right over here made up the 1 hour. Does that make sense?
yep.
Cool. Cool beans.
And I think gradually as I start back testing more, then I'll start to see it more often. So
Oh yeah. Hey man, you're just at the beginning of your your whole journey right now, which is awesome. It's a good feeling. There's going to be a lot of learning moments, a lot of frustration, I'm sure,
For
happens
sure.
to everybody, but yeah, you're going to be good. Another screenshot of GJ. And you're getting the hang of Trello, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like I just messed around like making the boards yesterday and like filling in description. I tried copy and pasting publishing from TradingView, put it on there and stuff. So I gotta
Okay.
learn that with the Soft4fx and I'll be at her.
You were able to get access to my journal, right?
Yeah, from
Right.
the Teachable.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's in there with all the links. That's that's something that you can add as like a or have in a separate window and use it as a template. It just makes it easier for you guys. Just to create the title, the organized title, just reading over the description of some of these trades, you'll know exactly what I was doing on these trades just by reading the description.
Okay.
Now, some of them don't have a description just because they're trades I would have taken, and like there's enough detail on the chart that I don't really need the detail, in the description part. And plus, it just saves time. But from I would say 90% of them all have a description.
All right.
And as you get through your trading career, you're just gonna start to do what makes sense to you, what you feel comfortable with as far as like detailing your journal and all that. So you'll be good. Oh. Gio, you see Greta Thunberg's speech?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you see Greta Thunberg's speech?
No.
She was just like mocking everybody. Let me see if
She was in the news again?
she was what?
She was in the news again?
Yeah. Right here. Let me see if I can play it real quick.
This is not about
Like I don't mind her. Like it's this is what you believe in, this is what you believe in. But like it seems like as she got older, after watching this at least, she just has like become arrogant a little bit. And parts of what she says I agree with because politicians don't do anything. They're all talk. But like the way she comes about and the way she's like saying it, it's like you're not being a leader. You're not gonna grab anybody's attention. You're going to grab attention, but not in a positive way. You're not going to change people's minds, when it comes to climate change. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different ways to communicate to people that will actually grab their attention and make them be like, maybe you're right. But when you attack people like this, you're not going to get anything done. Does that make sense?
yeah, his way of relaying his message is not, you know, it's kind of like, even though I agree with you, but the way you deliver your
Yeah,
message is like, yeah, no.
exactly. It's like it almost makes you not want to agree with them, even if you do.
Mhm.
So yeah, but it just seems like the older she's gotten, she's just been emboldened, and I'm sure she's got all these people in her ear, like, you're great, you could do what you want, you could, you know what I'm saying? And as she gets older, she's just getting a little cocky with it. So, but listen to what she says.
About some expensive, politically correct green ad, bunny hugging, or blah blah blah. Build back better, blah blah blah. Green economy, blah blah blah. Net zero by 2050, blah blah blah.
How did she even got the platform to speak? How did she start it? Like,
I think something with her parents, no? Like her,
oh,
I have no idea. I remember when she came onto the scene, what was it, like 3-4 years ago? She was like
yeah,
only a little girl. She was crying. Remember on stage?
yeah.
Yeah. But now she's gotten older. She's like cocky.
I think that was the time when Donald Trump pulled out of, the climate
Paris
thing.
Climate Accord.
Paris, yeah.
Yeah. Is that when she started? Is that what you're saying?
I think so, yeah. That's when she came out.
Here, listen to this.
Blah blah blah. Climate neutral, blah blah blah. This is all we hear from our so-called leaders. Words. Words that sound great, but so far has led to no action.
I agree with that.
Our hopes and dreams drown in their empty words and promises. Of course, we need constructive dialogue, but they've now had 30 years of blah, 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 and where has that led us? But, of course, we can still turn this around.
You haven't been alive for 30 years.
It's highly possible. It will take drastic annual emission cuts, unlike anything the world has ever seen. And as we don't have the technological solutions that alone can deliver anything close to that, that means we will have to change. We can no longer let the people in power decide what is politically possible or not. We can no longer let the people in power decide what hope is. Hope is not passive. Hope is not blah, blah, blah. Hope is telling the truth. Hope is taking action. And hope always comes from the people.
So, I mean, she's partially right when it comes to politicians. They're all like that. Like, do they actually care about climate change, or do they just want your money? Let's see where the markets are at right now as far as pre-markets go. Been taking a dump the last few days. Okay, they're recovering a little bit. Dow Jones. Another big mover in the market is Evergrande. They're due 45 million payment today. So far, no word. Let me bring this onto the chart over here.
So is that for reals that Chinese government is asking their banks to pick up, some of their
Probably.
debts?
Where did I see that article?
You send it on the fundamentals, I think, in Slack.
Yeah, I was just wondering what fundamental update. There you go. The report says that Beijing is pushing for government-owned firms and state-backed property developers to purchase some of Evergrande's assets. So, they're government owned and state backed property developers. Okay. So it's more of the government than it is like private sectors. Kind of like what we did in 2008, where we were asking Chase to pick up, buy some of these lower end banks or these failing banks. A lot of these banks like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all these banks were kind of purchasing these failing companies, obviously as a good deal, but they were taking on their clients and all that stuff. So that's what it looked like, what's going on in China as well. So that's what we were looking at. But it's a messy situation because as you saw what I said in the fundamental update, almost 90% of Australian Social Security Fund is tied in with Evergrande. Like they're invested into Evergrande. So imagine your Social Security being tied in with one company, one real estate company, and that real estate company goes belly up. Pretty smart. Australia has been showing a lot of their smartness as of late. I couldn't imagine being over there right now.
That's crazy. You saw that video from David Harris?
Which one? There's been so many now.
The teenage girl being arrested by police for not wearing a mask.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Do you see the pastor in Canada?
Yeah.
The pastor goes back. Well, I mean, kudos to him because he could have easily stayed here. But he said if I didn't go back, everything would have been for nothing. And I would have been just cowering down to everyone and not making change in Canada where it's needed. Guy gets arrested for 6 years. He's going to prison.
That's
He's a
crazy.
pastor, a good person, just for keeping his church open. Dude, these power-hungry politicians are something else. See right through it.
Is anybody from our group from Norway?
From Norway?
Yeah.
Norway. I don't think so.
No, because I was just reading something that Norway is just considering COVID as regular flu.
Okay. Wow. And are they?
Yeah, they're opening back up everything.
How are their cases and everything?
Well, they have they I think they have they still have a lot of cases of COVID, but the death rate is very low to be considered to be a real pandemic.
Well, a pandemic, by definition, the world population decreases, right? Year over year. It didn't happen this year. Our population in the world has increased. So technically, this is not a pandemic. Obviously, it's terrible what has gone on. 600,000 deaths in the U.S. and 2 million worldwide. It's horrible. Maybe it's even more than that. And
yeah,
it
makes seems the number makes it seems make it seems worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of people actually personally that died from COVID, but actually they have underlying some other conditions.
Yeah.
And I have friends that have relatives in the Philippines that died from COVID. And yeah, actually my uncle's wife, she died last week.
Sorry to hear that.
But not because of COVID, but because she wasn't admitted to the hospital for her dialysis.
Wow.
So she was tested positive for COVID. So they asked her to quarantine before she could do her, dialysis treatment. But yeah, so when she died, the reason that certificate says it was from COVID. But yeah, they were saying like it's not because of COVID, because she missed her. When you're doing that kind of treatment, you can't miss.
Yeah.
You can't miss. Yeah. So Yeah, she technically missed two sessions, and yeah, it's just
That's
crazy.
terrible. See, it's getting messy. I mean, I'd love to see one of those Scandinavian countries stepping up, and saying what it really is over here. But more countries need to do that. But too many countries are power hungry. Once you give up this power, over time, over history, they don't like to give it up.
Yep. You saw that video from Joe Rogan?
From who?
Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, he's had like a bunch. Like, him and Patrick Bet-David really got into it when it came to I love how it seemed like it was Patrick Bet-David's
Interviewing
podcast.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's I feel like I should have known that. Like that would happen. Like you could tell just by the first question that that's exactly how the interview was gonna go.
Well, PBD is just a natural, host to
Yeah, he's
interview
really
people.
good. He's really good at what he does. I love all of his analogies.
Yeah, the way he tried to make it like a small scale when he breaks it, like like if this is a family, this is kind of like this is you, this is us, and it just makes total, it makes you better understand. Like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah, stuff like that. But also like, what else does he do? Like, just giving examples of something. Like say I'm here and he's over here. You know what I'm talking about. I can't give like an exact example, but he's
Right.
just really good at it.
I get what you're saying.
Like randomly on the podcast, like he won't even have it planned, and like somebody will say something, and he just lays it out for him. I just love the way he does that. But that comes from just hundreds of thousands of cold calls that he's made with the insurance company over, throughout his 20s and 30s.
Yeah, not only that, it's just that also the books that he have read.
Oh yeah.
Like he's just gonna pull out something from one book, and he's like, from when this guy said this, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, he could still remember the stuff that he read like from years ago.
Yeah, when he decided that he didn't want to be partying and doing all that stuff, being in that scene, he bought every single book in these different categories on Amazon and just read, which is I think it's pretty cool. So gold, it looks like we're not forming that resistance right now. We're kind of bouncing off this area, came right back into the zone, created this bottom wick, passing the high over here. Could be continuing up to one. Maybe continue to consolidate in here. Now, what we have fundamentally today is let's see. Yeah, so we're probably going to end up ranging on gold, staying here until like this is huge right over here. You have all at 11:45 a.m. today. You have Lagarde speaking, the head of the European Central Bank. You have Bailey speaking, the head of the Bank of England. You have Kuroda speaking, head of the Bank of Japan, and then obviously Powell. So you're going to get a lot of volume over here if they say anything specific. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they say anything. They all come together or Powell speaks and they bounce off that. But this is going to be huge. This is what a lot of people have been waiting for all week. This, you also have Kuroda speaking again tomorrow. But obviously we have GDP and unemployment claims. I just saw, where did I just see that? Bullard, right over here. Bullard sees that we're going to have a GDP growth of 5.8% this year. This is GDP coming out for the quarter. They're looking at 6.6%. So we'll see what we get over here. I mean, we're opening back up. Things are happening, but at the same time, when it comes to vaccine mandates and everything. You're pushing people out of work. More people that, a lot of these people wanted to work, right? And now they can't. And there's even more people out there that, have the vaccine, but they don't want to work because they're getting government assistance. So if you kick more people out of the workplace, out of hospitals that are working, out of the military, out of all these different places, it's typically not good for the economy.
You heard about the Big Short too,
What about it?
that Michael Burry is predicting?
Oh, what's he saying now? Another bear market?
Yeah, basically, he's
Another bubble?
putting, he has put options, I think about 750 million in Tesla.
Oh wow, he's
And
betting
then,
against. Yeah, I saw that a while ago, didn't it?
and then, he has put options as well for, I think it was for bonds, treasury bonds that, it was a company that shorts treasury bonds, I believe so. It was like 130 million.
Yeah.
And then his inflation hedge, where he was saying he has call options for like Facebook, Heinz, so Walmart. So he was saying that those companies are not going to be infected by the inflation. But yeah, pretty. I mean, inflation and interest rate. I don't think we could escape. They're just trying to delay the stuff. So
Yep.
but
Pushing it off. I mean, they are in a tough spot because they created it, though. But it's not going to be good. And the more money you print and the more you raise the debt ceiling, the more this inflation is going to hurt who? The people that can't afford it. The people that you're trying to protect, the lower class, middle and lower class people, people that have a lot of money can survive mass inflation. They're fine. But when it comes to like any kind of inflation, you're affecting the lower class, and you act like you're helping them by printing money and handing it out to them. But at the same time, you're just mortgaging the future and hurting their kids, our kids, us down the road. And they just act like they have everything under control, and they just don't. Now, majority of the public, Sharma and I were just talking about this, majority of the public is going to buy into it because they don't pay attention to this. But we do because we make a living doing this.
I'll be right back, buddy.
Yeah. GJ is looking like we're forming another resistance right over here. Now I want to take another screenshot real quick. Yeah, that's a great point, Chris. 100%. Oh. People that follow their trading plan survive inflation. I love that. Let's see over here. And man, the market is taking a hit. Why did what's it called? Say that it was good. Yeah, dude, all these companies right now. Chris, whenever you get a chance on your phone, do you have an iPad by any chance? Oh, I think Chris left. Chris, I was just talking to you like you were here. I didn't realize you dropped out. Do you have an iPad or a you probably have an iPhone, right? iPhone. Okay, cool. Download Stockmaster. It's called Investing Stocks. Now, it doesn't have to be about stocks, but it gives you an overlay and like an oversight overview, whatever you want to call it, of the pre-markets and everything going on in the market. It gets into currencies as well, but it's a great app. Highly recommend it. It's like a green app with bars. Why was pre-market data coming in positive? Let's see. Yeah, that's more like it. I want to see how this 15-minute candle closes on GJ over here. Let's see if we create that resistance, and maybe I'll enter a small percentage to continue right back down here, and I continue down. But this candle needs to close bearish and a stronger bearish. And to be honest with you, I might put my stop loss somewhere up here instead of above this 15-minute. See what the 30-minute looks like. Just got to stay patient because we already grabbed our win over here. So no need to just jump into some of these trades. Get greedy. Now, in that case, that's where I would lower my risk a lot. About 5 minutes left till the 15-minute closes. See. Right. So we're going to continue up. Have you grabbed anything yet today, Chris? Doesn't look like gold's going to go anywhere until today with all these speeches. Looking for sells, yeah. But like I said, we could end up consolidating here, and then we get a massive move, depending on what they say. Could we be getting this? Just trying to place my calc over here. Chris, I forget. Do you have magic keys? All right, 15-minute candle close bearish. Risk. See the 30-minute. Don't know if I can answer this. Yeah, I don't know about all this. Wait, so Chris, you don't trade GJ at all? You just stick with gold? I remember you were doing that for a little bit. Wow, okay, cool. I like it. Do you feel much more confident in it right now? I like that, dude. Geo is actually doing the same exact thing. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that a lot when people just focus on one pair. It's great. I love that. Yes, sir. That's the goal. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Yep, I'm done with GJ. You still have that runner going, but it's a little choppy over here. This could be interesting. High risk, high reward sells right now. Take price right back down to this area. Stop loss around here. This would be, like I said, high risk, but I could see it playing out. About 28 pips. There it goes. Damn. Yeah, it's something I'm gonna journal. Let's see. Yes, sir. Called that. Oh, wrong journal. We dropping any more, Chris? Just going to journal this right now. It's the daily. Yeah, it's looking nice. Oh yeah, that's pretty. She's a beauty. Yes, sir. Yeah, that 8:15 slot, 8:15, 8:30 on gold. I mean, you know, it's nice. Nice time frame for that volume push, especially on a Wednesday. Did you take this, Chris? Smart. Chris, you take the kids to Disney yet? Oh wow. Going for Christmas next year or like Christmas coming up? That's awesome. Good for you, man. Next year, 2022. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be perfect for little Jamie. You know, perfect age for him. Like right now, it might be a little too young. He would still like it, but it'd be harder for you guys. Let's go. Where you stand? Yeah, please do. You know what's crazy? My that's a place that I never saw myself liking as much as I do. Like I went to Miami with some friends, and obviously that's more of an adult trip. We drove down there. Oh, you never oh my God. All right. So to put it into perspective, and keep in mind this is coming from me, right? And it's like this isn't my kind of place, right? And typically. So we drive down to Miami, me and my boys. It's like that's awesome, man. We drive down to Miami, and then a month later, I already had this booked. But Meg like surprised me with a trip for either my birthday or Christmas for Disney to go down for like a week, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, but she loves it. Her family loves it, and she's like, I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It's a great time. I'm like, all right, whatever. So you fly down. And when you fly into Orlando Airport, it's pretty cool. They pick you up on this bus, like a Disney bus, free transportation. They take you over to the hotel. But on this bus, there's this dad that like has the Disney shirt. And he's got everything going on. He's like, in my ear, you're gonna love it, man. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you're not making it any better. Like I feel like this is a kid's park. I don't want to be here. Like, but I did it, whatever. We get to the park and like a few hours go by. I'm like, this place is awesome. Like I feel like a kid. There's not a worry in the world. You just I mean, you haven't gone with just you and your wife yet, but I think it's awesome without kids. Like if you just go, just you two, you would love it because you get to go to Epcot, drink around the world, do all that stuff. Hollywood Studios. I'm sure it's awesome with kids, but it's also a different experience with just as adults. So you guys are gonna love it.
Dude, this Disney's for all ages.
Right? It's awesome, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's even for me before I was like, nah. I think I'm way too old for Disney.
You
But
went
when
with your girlfriend?
Yeah. And then by the time we were there, I'm like, yeah, it just proves that, Disney's for all ages.
It really is. And the thing that I love about it is obviously Epcot. Like if it was up to me, I would go to Epcot every day. As a kid, I didn't like Epcot because it's not really a kids park. They got a couple good rides, but there are also more adult rides as well, like Spaceship Earth. Have you been to Disney World or Disneyland?
Been to both.
Oh, both. Okay, so yeah, you know what I'm talking about with Disney World with Epcot, like Spaceship Earth, which is the big ball
Mhm.
in Epcot.
Yeah.
It's all about the history of communication, and it takes you up through that thing. Like I love that stuff. Magic Kingdom. So, oh, there you go. There you go. Yes, stick them with your parents and go to Epcot, dude. Drink around the world. Enjoy the different cultures. Um, and you're going Christmas. Christmas is honestly a crazy time to go. It's going to be pretty packed, but um, who knows after COVID? Like this past time we went, so we just went with another couple. We stayed at Saratoga Springs, and which is right next to Disney Springs, which is a place that you don't have to pay to go to, but it's got all these restaurants and bars, stuff like that, which is awesome. So our hotel room was right around the corner from that, so we could just walk over there. But we went with we went with another couple where the girl has been, my friend's fiance has been, but he only went once with her, and it was just like a quick trip. They got like the park hoppers, and they did like all four parks in one day. Then they went to Universal the next day. This was a different experience for them, but we had like a two-bedroom suite, so that we had a kitchen in there. We could wake up, um, make breakfast, relax a little bit. I was looking at the charts early in the morning, and we could take our time and go to the park because the lines weren't nearly as long. Like to get on some of these big rides that normally it's about like a 45-minute wait to an hour wait, it was only like 10, 15 minutes. So we were able to take our time and go to the park and then leave after 5, 6 hours because we got all the rides done. And then we would come back and shower and get ready and go to Disney Springs to go to a bar or, some kind of a restaurant. Now, when me and Megan go, normally we're up at like 8 a.m. We go get an everything bagel. We go get like a quick breakfast, and then we get right to the parks for the park opening. And then we're there all day because the lines are so long. And you don't get back till like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you're beat by the end of that day because you're ready for the next day. So this time we were only there for like 6 hours at each park, and we could go on all the different rides. Other than Epcot, you spend all day long there. Chris, just wait. You're gonna be hammered halfway around the world. It's by the time we get to like Germany or France, it's like, all right, I can't see anymore. But yeah, that's definitely a part that you don't go with your kids to because it won't be as fun, I guess. Happy for you, man. That's always been a childhood thing for you. You just never was able to make it over. 29 pips. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially with your parents going like that. That's cool. And where are you staying? I forgot to ask. Sending now. Okay. All right. So Gio, I think. Oh, what was that?
I think we're just gonna range here for until those bank governors are gonna speak out after what time is it? Like 8:45 Pacific time.
Yeah. You're talking about GJ or gold?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think traders are like investors just waiting.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, yesterday my stock portfolio was the biggest
Big hit, huh?
biggest hit I had.
Biggest hit yet?
Huh?
You said it was your biggest hit?
Yeah, it was the biggest loss on my portfolio. I was down 3%.
Just gotta hold tight with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not moving anything. It's not, it's for a long-term game, so
Yeah,
I'm not
100%.
even worried about it.
Yeah. Now the thing, like, what would you suggest for, let's say, somebody that's 75 years old? Inflation's coming. Also, if they increase interest rates, the stock market's going to crash. Like somebody that has their retirement tied up into the market, like, what would you suggest personally? Because with inflation, you want to be invested into things, but at the same time, the stock market could take a hit.
I mean, for 75-year-old right now, well, there's only one thing guaranteed is that they can keep this money printing going. So they have to increase the rate. They have inflation is for sure coming.
Mm-hmm.
So your risk in the market is like 1 to 2 years. I would say just pull out right now because pull out your money out of the market.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in that age, I think unless you're talking about just like you just started investing like a year or two ago.
No, this is their entire retirement.
Entire return. Yeah, I think people should
That's what I'm saying. But like
even,
you go
boomers,
you go to your bank, you go to all these places, they're not going to want you to take your money out.
Yep.
So, and you get penalties for it. Isn't that crazy? You get penalties for taking your own money out.
That's crazy. That's what even here. What was that? I was reading something. About taxation. They were saying, we work for the money that gets taxed before we get it, and then when you buy something, you get taxed for something that you still like everything is getting taxed.
Yeah.
Like they already took the money out from, and then you're gonna use that money to buy something for personal use, and they'll put tax on it.
It's crazy. It's a scam. I think income tax is a scam.
Yeah, I think so. Did you remember or have you watched that video where they were talking about tax and it was only supposed to last until the war was over?
Mm-hmm. World War I.
It was only to World War I. Yeah, it was only to fund the war. and they were saying that they're gonna stop or they're gonna take it out after the war is over.
Well, Lincoln kept his promise because they started that during the Civil War, and it was all for like the war effort. And you
Yeah.
know, once the war was over, they were going to stop income tax. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And then World War One came around. World War Two, they never stopped it. The federal income tax. It's a scam. I always say if you really cared about the lower and middle class, you would cancel income tax or any kind of tax or any kind of federal tax for people making less than $50,000 a year.
I
Like
agree with that.
If you really cared,
they should have a flat tax rate,
something like that, something
yeah,
fair.
I forgot who was who.
It was Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah, but there was another guy. He was saying he was talking to you about tax, right? He was saying, yeah, he would if he was in position, he would propose something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see PBD in the long run, maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, running for governor.
Part of me feels like he's like setting himself up for that.
I think so too.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
you
could kind of see the writing on the wall.
The way he talks, the way he tried to relate himself to politicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
always talking about politics.
Yeah. Yep.
He
he was saying that, he was saying that the only part he could run for president because he wasn't born here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But he could run for anything else.
Yep.
I could see him doing it. I think he'd be a great president.
Actually, if for some reason he doesn't want to pursue like politics or something, he could actually be a good advisor. For president. Yeah.
He just he's that personality that I think a lot of people are looking for, where obviously agrees with our policies, but at the same time, we need an equalizer. We need a person that can communicate to both sides and brings both sides together. And the way he communicates, he can definitely do that. He knows how to do it, right? And I think he'd be great. All right, boys, I'm getting a little hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm gonna head off. I'm already done with my trading day. Great session, easy move on GJ this morning, right, Chris? And Gio, did you get this or no? I forget.
No, I missed it.
Still waiting.
I was waiting for it. Yeah, I'm actually I'm probably just gonna pass on this because we might just consolidate in this area. But let's see how it goes after they speak. But yeah, with this, I'm actually trying to look for another possible trade. Maybe probably I don't think it'll happen this week, but maybe next week. The same trade that I took last week. Take a buy from 149.
Yeah.
GJ.
Yeah, 100%.
And ride it all the way up on that trend line.
Yeah. Yeah, I would 100% do the same thing. I missed that trade. I should have gotten that. Right over here, it kind of looks like a good setup, other than the fact that this is only 10 pips right here, this range. So typically you don't want to take something like that. But I do see if we close below this level right here, right? See how we rejected once, twice, 3 times right over here. If we get a close below that area right here on the 15-minute, unless we miss it, I think this would be good. But I do like the resistance forming right here. I do think we could come right back down to this area. But as you said, we have a lot of speeches in about 3 hours, about 2 hours now. So that I think we're going to continue to consolidate in here to continue down. But we very well could come right back down to this area. I want to take another picture of gold. I did not take this, by the way. This was Chris knows that. This is a paper trade based on the fact that we had like a little fake out over here. Nice impulse entry, stop loss above this candle right here. Secure at 1-to-1. This would have been a high risk, high reward sell. $7.15. But with that being said, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Chris, you know, we'll coordinate a different time that we can sometime today, probably this afternoon, that we could catch up and talk, or tonight. If tonight is good for you, that'd be perfect for me. I'm going to be up in the city for a little bit with a client, so you know, I'll have some good free time that we can just hop on a call. All right, brother. Perfect.
All right, boys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Gio. I'll see you soon. Chris, talk to you later. All right, buddy. See you guys.